Okay.
And in the process of doing that,
sorry guys, we put it on Do Not Disturb, but my son called. Go ahead.
We'll fix that.
Okay.
So when you have, back to what I was saying with the positives and negatives.
The car battery.
My positives are good, but my negatives, Rebecca covers. She brings the positive to my negative. Together we make power. Together we make a great couple. But here's the thing. God is the center of both of us. That is the key. When I'm on a bad day, I'm not really tuned in with God like I should be. I'm negative. But Rebecca's coming and she's, give me your hand, let's pray, let's go before God. Or vice versa. When you do these things, you got to have someone. You can't say, well, you're the man of the house, you should always lead in prayer. There's some days I don't have it. Okay, let's just keep it real. There's some days Rebecca has to come and lead it, but I'm there. And there's days where she doesn't have it, I have it. So it's the combination of the positive and the negatives, but together equals power. When God is the center of our universe and our life, the power generates from that. There's a lot of people in relationships with the wrong person, and they're not covering your negatives. If anything, they're exposing your negatives.
And also, I think that one of the things I've witnessed, Carrie, and observed with quite a few people that have counseled and coached, is that you may not even necessarily be with the wrong person, but you're both not really living up to your potential.
This is true.
You're not really focused on the right things. And so it's so easy to get into, and I've witnessed this in the marriage counseling, when I've worked with Carrie with the couples on the marriage counseling side. I've seen like this dynamic that is this blame game. It is so easy to just keep pointing the finger at each other. No, it's you. No, it's you. Well, if you hadn't done that, well, remember when you did that to me? And remember when you said it like that?
Keeping score.
And so it's like this tit for tat. And where does that end, right? At some point, there has got to be forgiveness. There's got to be a point where you kind of draw a line in the sand and say, I love you, you love me, let's work through this, but we also have to be willing to forgive.
So I guess then the question I pose, Rebecca, is why is forgiveness so hard in a relationship of a couple or a union?
I think because we tend to be, as human beings, so ego-centered.
That's it.
And not love-centered.
That's it.
At the end of the day, as we are navigating life, there's always a choice you have every day. It's to choose between love and fear. Love is a choice. And it doesn't always feel that way.
Come on. And forgiveness is a choice.
A choice.
It's a choice that you choose to take when you're ready to say, we got to move past this. But can I say something? And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Relationships are rated R. They're for mature audience only. You have to be mature when you're in a relationship, because forgiveness, it's not about who is right or who's wrong. Who is the bigger person that is willing to say, let's just squash it, let's work on it, I'm sorry, I'll work on that, I hear you, because we're a union, we're one. And if I get mad at Rebecca and hold things against her, I'm holding it against myself, because we're one. And when you're in a relationship and your ego, which has been, edging God out, when you edge God out of the relationship, you edge him out of conversations. Before you go, you pray, say, God, lead me how to address an issue that I have with my better part. Lead me in what to say that where they're not offended. You got to have God first before you even go to have a controversial conversation. Because if you go into it with your ego, the first moment they roll their eyes or smack their lips or say something cross at you or cuss at you, guess what's going to happen? You done forgot all about what you want to talk about. Now we're on some new stuff because you done pissed me off and I'm going to get you off of me. Where's God at in that? We've allowed our egos to get so affected to the point now we're lashing out and hurt people. Hurt people.
And I think that in the last couple of years, in my experience after doing the TV show and coming into contact with a lot of diverse people, across just demographics of society, one of the things I've become very aware of is just the overall level of immaturity, the overall level of just people not taking accountability, people not being responsible. It's like everybody wants this fairy tale results in life, that everybody wants, like, oh, they want these amazing relationships, and they want to be in love, and they want to literally, have all these amazing results in wealth and prosperity and joy and abundance. But yet the actual skill set, mindset of the individual does not come into question. There's not self-analysis and self-awareness and accountability to say, wait a minute, let me take a look at myself to see if I'm contributing, right? Because by law of attraction, you get back what you put out.
Yes, ma'am.
If you are selfish, you are going to reap selfishness.
That's right.
If you are petty, you are going to reap pettiness. If you are impatient, you are going to reap impatience. At the end of the day, it's like we have got to do some heart checks. We've got to do some mind checks. We've got to look at ourselves and begin to lead from a perspective of who we are and how we're showing up.
So let me pose a question to the class, and then we see questions coming. If you're not in a relationship right now, okay? If you're not in a relationship, ask yourself a question before you get into one. Am I healed enough to be in a serious, mature relationship? Have I done the work on my trauma? Have I done the work on my insecurities? Have I done the work? And then ask the next question, why do I want to be in a relationship? Is it to have legal sex, so it's not considered adultery or fornication? I mean, it's fornication in the eyes of God. Is it for status? Is it for wealth? Because at the end of the day, it's like she said, it's this fairy tale of what it's about. But when you get in it, you realize there's some days you're going to ask the question, why in the hell did I get married? Why did I choose this person? What is it I love about that? Because they're going to get on your nerves. And if God is not centered when those times come, then you're going to find yourself in front of a judge divorcing.
And I think that, the other thing is that when people are just going into relationships for what they can get, what am I getting out of it? How are you helping me? How are you adding to my life? And when I've asked the question in some of my classes, well, what are some areas where you're willing to compromise? What are some areas where you're willing to fill in the gaps for your partner? Where can your partner need help? Where can your partner not be so strong? Because it's easy to come up with the list of expectations of everything you think are absolutely non-negotiable that you've got to have in a person. But nobody stops to think about, what about weaknesses? What about imperfections? What are some things that to you could deal with that, you could handle that? Because that's not the way our brain works, because we tend to work in these ideals. We want ideal situations. And the other thing is that I think a lot of the times where people go wrong is you keep trading in people thinking they just weren't the one. They're not the one. Because subconsciously you're thinking there's going to be some perfect person, right, who's going to meet all of your requirements and needs. And you're not going to have any problems, and there's not going to be any arguments, and it's just going to be rainbows and unicorns. And if you've got, and that's most people, like in my experience, we have idealistic expectations that undermine the reality of human beings in a relationship.
That's correct. And so as the topic says tonight, when God is not in the center of the relationship, it's doomed. It's disastrous. If we could be transparent, Rebecca and I had got so busy doing things, whether it was entrepreneurship, filming, new companies, to where we did not keep God centered. And we can admit that. We went through a time where it started getting where we couldn't even stand to see each other, but we love each other. What's the problem? Because God was at the center. We start making businesses the center, children the center, our own personal goals, just all these things were the center point and not God. And so God is sitting here going, oh, so you don't need me? All right, do you, boo? I'll be over here when you hit rock bottom.
It was going to hell in a handbasket real quick.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
And one of our therapists said, because I'm having a vent session, and she's like, well, Rebecca, where is God at?
Where is God at?
In any of this, where is God at? Yeah. And when she asked the question, this is why you need spiritual and anointed accountability, spiritual and anointed advisors, consultants, counsel, mentors, pastors. You need people in your life that remind you of the things. And as soon as she asked the question, it was like a simple question. And it literally shined a light on an area that we had just begun to slide.
Yep. She said, do you, boo? And that's it. God, like, do you, boo? I'll be over here when you need me. It didn't take long, did it?
No. Because we would have been divorced within a year if we had not had an intervention, if we had not had a wake-up call, an awakening, right? And so it's so important that we recognize that if you want real love, and if you want a relationship, a marriage, if you're married right now, catching this video live, we're going to catch it in replay, and you're married right now, and your marriage is really going through the rocks, you're really struggling to hang in there, we encourage you to try God.
Yes, please.
We're going to encourage you to humble yourself. Like, that's number one. Humble yourself. Yeah. If you're single right now, humble yourself. God, I need help.
Yes.
I can't do this by myself. Somebody asked earlier, do you think it's meant for some people to be alone? Do you think it's meant for some people to not be with anyone or to be married? I think if it is a desire of your heart to have partnership, then it is of God for you to have partnership. Yeah. God did not create us to be alone. Nope. So that's why we all desire it so much. The only people that I hear talk about not wanting love are people who have been hurt really deeply. Yep. So unless you're going to go be a monk, or a nun, and dedicate your whole life to God, and not involve yourself with any relationships, personal relationships. We all want love and connection. We're not meant to do life by ourselves.
We found that out with COVID. You're not meant to be isolated. We're meant to cohabitate with others. And that's a problem. A lot of times we feel like, I don't need you. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah. Why you think in prison they put people in solitary confinement?
They go crazy.
And they go crazy. It breaks you when you're by yourself. That's why when God looked down at Adam and saw that he was lonely, had no one else around, he said, it's not good that man should be alone. Let us make him a suitable helpmeet. Now, suitable helpmeet means someone who meets their needs, that's suitable to bringing them, compassion and companionship and happiness. Sometimes what we have to understand is why some people need to be alone is so they can work on themselves, so they can get healed and ready for companionship. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, if you can't get along with yourself, you definitely can't get along with your mate.
Eugene says, it's lonely to be by myself. There are times that I shed a few tears.
Yes.
And
Eugene, thank you for saying that, because a lot of times we think as men do not cry, or men do not get lonely. Yes, we do. True. Yes, we do. It's when your pride and ego gets in the way. Well, I'm fine. I don't need a woman. I don't need a man. Yes, you do. You need someone that you can talk to. You need someone that you can confide in. You need someone just to tell you, I like you. There's some days where I don't like myself. Rebecca said, you want a handsome looking man? I'm like, really? Yes, baby. I said, well, thank you. It picks you up. And like she said, most people that feel that way are those that are hurt and haven't done the work to get healed.
So one of the things I want to say tonight, and as we're getting ready to launch Love Ministries, one of the things that we are all about is love.
Yes.
Now, we're called to the hurting. So we know that many of you are hurting. Many of you have given up on love, or you feel like giving up on love. You feel kind of hopeless and helpless sometimes. But one of the things that I want to say, like here from the very beginning, is that your mindset about all of this, your beliefs about love, about the opposite sex, about dating, has power. Your thoughts
Yes.
and your words have
Yes.
power.
Yes.
So guess what? If you're saying to yourself, there's no good women left, there's no good men, there's nobody for me, it's just probably not in the cards for me. Your words, life and death is in your tongue. Life
Yes.
and death is in your thoughts. You are sowing the seeds of either what you're sowing the seeds constantly into your subconscious of what you're manifesting. And you're manifesting your experiences. You're manifesting your reality with your words and your thoughts and your feelings. And so becoming very conscious of what you're holding in your head and in your heart is so important.
Yeah. Go back to the last comment. That was a pretty good question.
I want partnership and companionship, but I don't want to get married. Is that abnormal?
No.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. Listen, let me say something. I want you guys to hear me very well. If you really study the scripture that said it's not good that man should be alone, let's make him a helpmeet. It never said let's make him a wife. It said a helpmeet. Man has taken that scripture and instituted it with marriage. But the scripture itself says let's make him a suitable helpmeet. Okay? I don't recall Adam and Eve having a marriage ceremony. Who given this woman to be married to this way? No. That's not what we saw there. We saw the creation of a unity. And we have assumed that that was his wife, but they never had a marriage. So you can have companionship and a partnership and not be in a marriage.
I think that marriage has become so complicated from a legal perspective, from a business perspective, that the way marriage legally is now set up, I mean, guys, it is so tricky. Carrie and I have both been through devastating divorces.
Yes.
So we believe in loving again. We believe in God renewing and being able to bring you new love and a fresh start. And Carrie and I are the greatest love of each other's lives, even though we've been married before. It's like it's got greater later. But that being said, I wouldn't wish divorce on anyone. And I think that the reality is that, as I've said previously in other videos, you have got to take marriage very seriously.
Yeah.
Very seriously, because you can't just marry anybody. You can't just marry because you catch some feelings and you are in love. I mean, Carrie and I have been together almost 10 years, and I can tell you that we have spent the first 5 or 6 of those years on cleanup on aisle 5, cleaning up the baggage and the mess that we both carried in from these previous relationships, that the damage, just healing our finances, healing our credit, healing our hearts, healing our minds. Just, it's been a lot.
Yeah, not punishing the other person for what someone else did to you. You know, that's why it's important, again, to heal before you hurt. Heal before you hurt. And a lot of times, men, we are known to heal through another woman. That's just the truth. Women will more or less go and get the counseling and the therapy, but as men, we have a tendency to heal with the next one up. And what happens is you're going to mess around and hurt that person and punish them for what somebody else did to you. So that's why even for men, you know, A lot of men do not go to counseling. I'm an advocate for I promote counseling. I have my own therapist that I go to and I talk to and I open up to, because to get healed, Rebecca can't heal me. She's not. I didn't marry her to be my healer. I married her to be a wife. So you have to have your own therapist that you go to and be transparent and say, listen, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. I don't want her to see this in me and think I'm less of a man. So how do I fix this? How do I work on this? I don't want to hurt her, right? And so that's what we have to do. We have to make sure that we do what's necessary to get our personal healing so that we don't hurt the person that we really love.
Yeah. A gentleman just asked, Big Bro, what's the best vetting system for vetting a woman for marriage, vetting a woman for a relationship? What would you do in these days and times?
Well, in these days and time, first thing, like I said, let's start. Okay, before we can vet a woman, let me go this route. Before we can vet a woman, let's make sure we've done our work as men, so that we're not coming into the relationship broken. Because you can't. Look, you got to hear this now. You can't vet someone if you're broken, because you're going to vet them in a broken state. And when you then do the work to get healed, what you liked broken, you're not going to like healed. Okay, did y'all get that? So if you're trying to vet somebody when you're broken, you're vetting a broken person in a broken state. So do the work first on yourself to get healed. Know what you want, know what you don't want. Make sure you've gotten past your trigger points, your triggers, because we all have triggers. And so that way, when you have healing and you know what you want, now you can vet the person based on what you need. You hear me? You vet a person based on what you need out of a relationship. He said, Carrie the Virgo speaks. And so you want to make sure that you get healed. How many of you could be honest and say you went into a relationship and you knew you were broken?
Or at least really, really, really damaged.
Or really, really damaged.
Really hurting.
Yes. And so you fell in love with this person broken. But what happens when one starts to get... That's why the reason why Rebecca and I both have to go and do our work. Let's say...
And what the work is therapy. Reading books, prayer, meditation.
Shadow work, all this.
The work is a lot.
Yes. So watch this. I do the work. I'm starting to get healed, but Rebecca doesn't. All of a sudden, Rebecca's going to start looking a certain way to me because I'm working and I'm changing. She's staying the same. So guess what happened if I chose her broken, but I'm getting healed? I'm going to start seeing even more flaws, more shortcomings, more things, because my eyes are coming open with healing. But if we both do the work, if we both get our healings, we're healing together, we're growing together, we're loving together. Okay?
And
that's why it's important.
If we're really honest too, Carrie, a lot of what's going on out here in the dating world and even inside current marriages is trauma bonding. People aren't healing. They're not doing the work to heal. Mm-hmm. And then you form these trauma bonds. In other words, the compatibility is based on wounds.
Yep.
That's what the most you have in common is wounds. And you just don't quite understand it because it feels so comfortable. It feels so safe. It feels like home. It feels like they get you. They understand you, and vice versa. Until you start triggering each other.
Yes.
And start bleeding all over each other. And now we got some problems.
And you know what's funny? A lot of people are being triggered. See, let me say, I feel it's strong to say, many of you don't know what your triggers are until you're triggered. Okay? So watch this. Rebecca does something just being Rebecca, but because of my insecurity, because of my unhealedness, it triggers me and it sparks an insecurity inside of me that had nothing to do with her, but it triggered me, and now I'm tripping. And she's up here going, what's wrong with you? You know what you did. What did I do? It's me. I'm the problem. I got triggered.
And I don't even, you could not even know what's going on. The other person in the situation is like, what's going on with you? We're not mind readers.
Nope.
People are not mind readers. They don't know what's going on. And can I say this about our marriage? When I met Carrie and we started dating, the first couple years we were married, I started realizing that Carrie didn't talk. That Carrie didn't share, that he didn't communicate
Nope.
his emotions.
Nope.
And as we started getting therapy, and we have couples counselor, each have our own individual therapist. I'm like, Carrie, tell me how you feel. And it was like pulling teeth. When I tell you, it was like, oh my God, what? And, I can't read your mind, guys. I mean, like, honey, what is going on in you? How are you? And it's like he would even try to talk. And, oh, ladies, I need you to hear me. You can have such a wonderful man, but he can be so hurt. And if a man has tried to express himself before or communicate his feelings and it got shut down or he got hurt because of it, he doesn't feel safe. And guess what? It took us years to get to the point. Now Carrie talks about his feelings and now wait a minute. And I'm like, dang! Now it's like he's a monster, right? Like when somebody gets a new skill. And they're like, you can't, now it's like you can't shut Carrie up. I don't like that. No, I don't want to do that. I don't like that. I want to do it like this. I feel like this. And I'm just like, oh God, what happened to quiet Carrie? But it's real. It's like, so now he's healthier and he can communicate. But this is for the ladies too. I need you to understand that if you fall in love, and you guys, if anybody watching this is not an adult, if you are out of your early 20s, it is so important to recognize that people are coming in. And even if you meet someone who's been in therapy and you've been in therapy, nobody's perfect.
No.
Everyone's a work in progress.
Including you.
There are things, ladies, one of the things I say about being a wife that a lot of the time girlfriends and single women don't understand is part of being a wife is being a support to your husband, being a safe space, a safe place for your husband.
Yes.
A best friend, a confidant, because men don't often talk a lot, they don't share a lot. They don't confide in a lot of people. And so a man's wife is his safe space. Tandra says that non-talking about to make me get a divorce. Tandra, you got to get some help. You gotta get some help, Tandra. You can't just give up. These are skills that have to be developed.
Let me say this as from a male perspective. So what was her name, Tanya? Tandra, let me explain to you the silent treatment. It's nothing personal. Men have been taught, and I want y'all to hear this, ladies, that when he expresses his emotions, he's whining. He's weak, and man up. But I'm trying to share with you, because what y'all fail to understand, ladies, is the same emotions you go through, we go through those as well. Okay? We go through them. And so when a man is trying to share his emotions and you roll do you not know that out of the 100% of communication, only 7% of what you say matters in the relationship. The other 93% is nonverbal cues, okay, and tone. So if a man's trying to share with you and you roll your eyes or smack your lips, so here we go, guess what a man is going to do? He's going to shut down. But hear me, ladies. Please hear what I'm going to say. A man has to talk to a woman. So if you're making him shut down talking to you, then the lady at work, the lady at the grocery store, the lady at the cooler, somebody is going to give that soft ear, that soft wife life. There's going to be a soft place for him to land, and he's going to begin to just talk. And guess what's going to happen? Oh, you done got emotionally attached. No, I'm trying to talk to you, but you give me attitude. You're rolling your eyes. You're smacking your lips. You smart man up. I thought I married a man.
A real man.
I wish some of my brothers would come on and say, you're telling the truth. Because what happens is, this is how Rebecca and I have learned to communicate. When there's something tough we have to talk about, I say, baby, I need to talk to my friend. I need to talk to my friend. What that means is I'm going to say something that may offend the wife. But my friend who I can talk to, if she just allow me to speak, I'm good. Now, Georgette said, shaking my head. Why are you shaking your head, Georgette? Because this is real talk. This is the disconnect that women been asking questions. Well, why he this and why he that? It's because, now I can't speak for the dogs. I'm talking about men, not the dogs that just want to go ahead and mess with a woman. I'm talking about those who really get married and he shuts down. A man will shut down when he feels like he's been misunderstood or appear to be weak. Yeah. And so
or not being respected.
Or by not being respected. Okay? Read that one for me.
I told my man I want him to feel comfortable with communicating with me about his feelings. He opens up to me more now, and I love it.
There you go. You know why he opened up to you? Because you gave him a safe place to land. Yeah. You gave him a safe place to expose his weakness, and you didn't judge him. Right. You made him feel that he could come to you. And when a man realizes that he has a woman that allows him to be able to speak, guess what? He will, because now he's like, can I tell you this? And can I tell you that? And next thing you know, you're going to see this come together. Yeah. Listen to me. I speak this from experience and from those that I do premarital counseling with. When a man cannot speak, he will not speak. I'll say it again. When a man cannot speak, he will not speak. And if you say, even if it hurts your feelings, let him get it out. And then with wisdom, the Bible says a wise woman buildeth her house, but a foolish woman teareth down the house with the same hands. Women, ladies, hear me. You can build your home and get your man to cope. Delilah was just ruthless, but she convinced Samson enough that he laid his head in her lap, and she said, tell me all your secrets. And he would test her, and he would test her, and he would test her. And she would say, oh, the Philistines are coming. He would jump up and get ready to fight. But what Delilah was good at doing was calming the beast in Samson to the point he told her where his weakness was. Now, ladies, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to get back to Rebecca. If your man tells you his weakness, will you judge him or will you cover him? Well, that was a sermon.
That is a sermon.
Oh, my.
And I think the other thing also is recognizing, ladies, that there is a big difference between just being a woman and being a wife. That,
please elaborate on that one.
When it comes to partnership, he needs you just as much as you need him. And you don't marry Superman. You're marrying Clark Kent.
Come, girl.
Right? I'm married to Carrie, not Super Carrie. Out in the world, he's Super Carrie. Right? But at home, he gets to take off the cape and he gets to just be Carrie. And that's so important because the world is weighing on our shoulders. And I get to just be Rebecca too. I get to be able to be emotional and just fall apart sometimes and have those moments where I can't hold it all together anymore. I'm scared. I'm sad. I'm whatever you're going through. This is why God gives us partners to support us. But it's going to take a level of maturity to be able to show up for your partner.
That's the key.
Right? To show so that it's mutual and reciprocal so you can be there for each other. And this goes to what we say all the time. The foundation of a really, really loving and powerful and healed marriage is friendship.
Yes.
Friendship.
Yes. Someone just said that was a good analogy. She married Clark Kent, not Superman. But can I say something, ladies? When we do turn into Superman, don't become our kryptonite. Don't become our kryptonite and break us down. Because I'm going to tell you something. The world is doing a good job at that. When I come home, I don't want to be the boss. I don't want to be the apostle. I want to be Carrie. I want to come home, sit down with you. We play video games. We laugh. We just carry on. I'm not trying to come home and say, the Lord said, fix my meal, woman. No. No.
Right.
No. And you'd be surprised how many people forget that you're human. One of the things I want to leave with you that Rebecca and I had to learn, and we're still, we're still a work in progress, is don't take each other so serious that you can't laugh. You can't have fun. You can't, you're so angry that you're afraid they're going to, no, we do some of the, if you knew how we were behind the scenes, we are some two complete fools and nuts and crazy. Because we know, Rebecca taught me how to come down, how not to be so religious, so deep, how to come and be caring and know it's okay. I brought Rebecca from the club. She was on the pole dancing when I found her, and
lies we tell.
Oh, but seriously, we balance is what I'm getting at. We balance each other. We balance each other. If y'all know anything about us, we crack up like this. But the good part about it, guys, is we kept God. And when God got off kilter in our life and not centered, we start to see the turmoil and the storms and the rain. And when we put him back center, is when we start to see balance and sweet and guidance and love and kindness and all those things. Somebody said on the pole. Yes, she was on that pole, girl. She don't stop, get it. I'm sorry.
Right. You're so stupid. I was not, let's be very clear before tomorrow, there's videos about this video. Rebecca used to be a stripper because all these crazy YouTubers love to take a viral clip soundbite and go run with. I've never, ever, ever been a stripper. Carrie Pope.
If somebody takes that and run with it, you're going to get some likes and some views, and more people going to want to know who Rebecca Lynn Pope is, the stripper.
No. No. Stop. Listen, Carrie, this YouTube world
I ain't
is
worried
crazy.
about them folks, because at the end of the day, the truth shall set you free.
So, listen. Love Ministries is launching, guys.
Yes.
Please make sure we're going to have a lead page up for you to put your emails in. We don't have that up yet, but just stay tuned. We're going to be here Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. This is our midweek event, virtual teaching for Love Ministries will be Wednesdays at 7 p.m. So we're starting that now. Our website is coming. Donations. If this has been a blessing to you, please make a donation at the link right now. We have the Rebecca Lynn Pope Ministries donation page up at the link. But our new Love Ministries donation and new website is coming as well. But if this has been a blessing to you, make sure you sow a seed and bless us as well.
So before we go, we're going to take only 3 questions. If you have something you want to ask us about tonight's subject, we'll take 3 questions and then we'll answer the rest of them online itself. But does anyone have 3 questions we can answer real quickly to get you out of here that maybe in the back of your mind that you're like, I want to ask this question? Go ahead. If not, we're going to say good night and we're going to start our hand and foot game or whatever we're going to do and have fun.
Play cards online.
Yeah, play cards online. So anybody have a question for us?
Yeah, before we check out. Somebody said, this is better than your show on. You ain't never lied, honey. Don't get me talking about no TV show.
Oh, don't get us started.
Don't get me started. Do you go to website for the new class? Do you go? Hold on one second. Rich says, do you go to the website for the new class, Getting Paid as a Life Coach? That is a class that's inside of my links, I believe. But if you're wanting to do the certification, the new link is up for that master certification at the link in my bio, and we'll post it inside the comments of the video when we get done.
Good one. What? Oh, where'd it go? What if I'm just now realizing I need to heal and
About to be married.
So, if you just realized it, I definitely recommend that you get with us for some of our personal one-on-one healing courses that we have. We have, as a matter of fact, there's a link I have where I actually coach you one-on-one to help you get through that. Because if you realize that before you get married, do not make the fatal mistake and think that something's going to change just because you say I do. Do the work first, then go into it. And I definitely, for those of you who are wanting to get married but have not had premarital coaching and counseling, please,
Nurse Megan, what I would do is email hello@carrieapope.com. Email hello@carrieapope.com, and either ourselves or one of our team members will respond to you, but put in the subject line marital counseling.
Yes.
So that Carrie will know and remember you from the show, from tonight, and then let
Yes.
you know and give you a quote on that program and what that looks like to work
Yes.
one-on-one
Yes.
with us.
Because it's very important, guys.
Yeah,
Very
you don't
important.
want to just ignore what you're seeing and just keep moving forward.
It will get worse,
And
not better.
right, and now you're inside the marriage. It's like you've got to start addressing it now. It's not too late,
No,
hun. It's
no,
not
it's
too
not.
late,
No.
but you just want to make sure that you start doing the work to heal.
That's right.
Let me come back. Oh, she said ask for recommendations. Yeah, you can email hello@carrieapope.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're welcome. How do we approach creating a friendship when you know you want a spouse? So, Queen of Kings,
good.
when you're dating, you're going to put the focus on the actual skill sets around friendship, listening, having fun without it having to be elaborate or extravagant dates, being able to enjoy someone's company. Think about your friends, right? Your girlfriends, your guy friends. Think about how those relationships, the flow and the ease and the fun and the camaraderie and the humor, how you don't even have to be doing a whole lot of anything. You can just have a good time building and talking, sharing, communicating, feeling safe to do that. As you're building a relationship and dating, you just want to make sure you're focusing on that and just not all the lovey-dovey, kissy, oh my God, he's so fine, she's so fine. You want to focus on the communication skills and getting to know each other and taking the time to build that friendship.
Yes. That was one. Go back a second. That was a good question that came up. Come down. Come on, scroll down. Forgiveness. Is forgiveness the number one thing to keep a successful marriage? I won't say it's the number one thing. I think the number one thing is being equally yoked, commonality. Then you've mixed in forgiveness. Because you can forgive someone, but you may not have anything in common. So you're going to always find yourself forgiving versus when there's commonality, then that means you're not misunderstood. That means that you have things that you both come from the same cloth, so to say. So I would say equally yoked first, commonality, that's in that thing, and then I would say forgiveness flows with that.
And I would say reciprocity in the forgiveness, because you can forgive someone, but if they keep doing the same exact thing and they're not committed to any change behavior, change behavior is the only apologies we're really looking for. We need to see change behavior.
Not in your mouth.
So you could
actions.
just, because if you're the partner who has to keep forgiving, but it's the same thing over and over again, that's not going to work.
Correct.
So there's got to be accountability on both sides.
One last question.
How to get my husband to go to counseling? I've asked. He says, no, we don't need it. He trusts and believes God will fix it.
Woo, go ahead.
You go ahead.
So first of all, I think the approach that you have to have is it's important to you. How important this is for him to go to you. Because if you're asking him to go, there's a reason. God doesn't fix everything. He gives us the ability to go places to get it fixed through counseling. So, men most time run from counseling. They really do. So you have to talk to him and say, baby, listen to me. It's important to me that we go to counseling together. I love you, but something is wrong in our relationship and we got to get help. Yes, God will fix it, but he will fix it through a therapist. He'll fix it through a counselor. And we'll find the right one that you feel comfortable with. But baby, we got to do something. Because if we don't do something, there won't be us.
There you go.
There won't be us.
That's what I had to say to him.
Yeah.
Men are stubborn.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Men are stubborn. They can be very set in their ways. They don't want to get vulnerable. They don't want to face, the stuff that they don't want to face. And it makes them feel like back again to feeling weak, to feeling like they're not going to be respected. If you go to counseling, you have to talk.
She said, why do men run from counseling? Because we always get blamed in counseling. We always get blamed. So a man doesn't want to go to hear and somebody else, I got to sit here for a whole hour and hear how I'm this and I'm that and I'm that and I'm this and I'm this and I'm that. So a man's like, I'm cool. I'm not signing up for that. Because a man does not want to be blamed all the time. And the moment he says something about you, oh, that's not true. No, I did it because you. So most men, there we go, the back and forth. So what a man will do is go to counseling and he'll do this. Same thing he was doing at home. See, he won't say nothing because when I say something, you come back with something, and I'm not going to do it. That's it, a bashing session. So if you really want to, men run from therapy because they get tired of getting blamed.
And I'll say that. So my strategy that I took is that Carrie had his own therapist, but it was like not like serious enough. Like it was like the initial therapy. It was like anyway. But I said I found this really phenomenal male counselor, a man who's just older. He's mature, wise, well, like referred, incredible. And I then set up some couple sessions. But I already knew in my mind I wanted him to be Carrie's therapist. I wanted Carrie to go off and work with him on his own because Carrie needed to be able to do his own work. So as wives, sometimes we have to be able to, give direction and guidance in a certain way that kind of opens up. Because as soon as we met with Dr. Massey, Carrie was like, oh yeah, he's cool. Like this is a good brother. Like I really like him. And then he started doing his own sessions with him. And that's really what I wanted for Carrie from the beginning. I, went and got my own therapist. He was still our marriage counselor for a little while, but he's just phenomenal. So the other thing, ladies, I would say is that when it comes to getting your husband or your man to go to counseling, find a really great male counselor. Find somebody that he can relate to, right? Find someone that he can connect with, that he's going to feel like understands him, because men need to have safe spaces too. Mm-hmm. It can't just be that you go there to vent. Go get your own counselor for that. Go into the couples counseling to really work on the unit, the issues in the unit. But he needs his own counselor, you need your own counselor, and you need a couples counselor.
Yeah. Yep. Somebody said something that was key. We'll go with that. He said, Mr. Pope submits to your direction very well. We can see. You know what? I wouldn't say so much submit as I would call it has my best interests at heart. And with my best interests at heart, I know that whatever's being recommended is for the betterment of Carrie, and she reaps the benefits of that. Yeah. You guys got to get that. When
you love somebody,
you do what you have to do.
And I know my husband, I know what he's going to go for, what he's not going to go for. I know his triggers, his pain points, and, you get to know your partner really well. And you have to be wise. It's like you can know that, but you don't want to bully someone into something either. Then they're there really against their will completely. But what I did express to Carrie when we first initially started going to therapy is that if we don't get help, we're not going to make it. Yeah. And ladies, I think sometimes we're afraid to say that because it feels like an ultimatum. It feels like, but it's also in how you say it. It doesn't have to be angry. It doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be in an ultimatum type tone. It's just like matter of fact. Like, listen, if we don't address these issues are going to destroy us.
You're going to address us.
So if we don't get help, it's like, do you want this marriage? Like, I know I want it. Do you want it? We got to get some help.
And can I be honest with you guys? It doesn't matter who's right or wrong if you're not together. It doesn't matter who's right or wrong if you're not together. Yeah. You're a unit. You're one. So if I'm off, she's off. If she's off, I'm off, because you're one. It's not about, I'm fine, you're the problem. No.
Whatever I go through, Carrie's going through. Whatever Carrie's going through, I'm going through. Mm-hmm. And if you're a highly sensitive person, a highly gifted person, an empath, you definitely going through whatever your partner's going through. Mm-hmm. Because it is a unit. It's a partnership. Yeah. You're laying down in the same bed. You don't think that you're sharing spirit, sharing energy. Literally, you're going through, and that's also part of partnership and companionship. If you're not ready to have to deal with somebody else's problems and issues, you're not ready to be in a relationship.
Boom. That's why it's so important to ask the question, why am I marrying you? Why am I marrying you? That's the question you need to ask. Why do I want to marry you? Yeah. Okay? Working on my delivery. That's good.
Good.
You know what would be a good subject next week? I think What you think?
I don't know. Comment in the comments, guys, on this video and let us know, especially once we get it posted, what you want our topic to be for next week.
Because I love that one. Why do men run from therapy? I like that.
That's a really good one.
That's a real good one.
It's a really good one.
So please share.
Yeah, share your ideas about comments or anything you want. I don't know what that dance is. Thank you guys so much. Mwah. Blessings and abundance. Love and
That's why I said
light.
you guys are awesome. My Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Aw, we love you guys. We'll see you
Amen.
next week. Stay tuned for more updates for Love Ministries. We love you. Mwah, mwah. Donation
guys.
link is in the bio and in the comments. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Take care now. Leave your comments and what you would like us to talk about.
Yes,
Bye-bye.
Yolanda, weekly. We'll see you next Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Bye now.